evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a short Classy Home Field Test for the Upcoming Supplement Conference Contest between the Catawba College, Catawba Indians, and your Carson-Newman Eagles. A reminder that Carson-Newman Indians is good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are permanently removed from this competition. Also, the consumption or possession of alcoholic beverages at the site of competition is prohibited. We thank you in advance for your cooperation. The well-being of our student athletes, fans, and staff are our top priorities in guiding our decisions. Exposure to COVID-19 is an inherent risk at any public location where people are present. We cannot guarantee you will not be exposed during your visit. Though not required for entry to our athletic facilities, facial coverings are encouraged for arena occasions. At this time, we ask you to please rise first for our invocation from Carson-Newman Volleyball player Alyssa Johnson. Following the invocation, please remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. Now, please remain standing for the playing of our starting band. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet today's starting lineup. First for the Catawba College, Catawba Indians. A 5'10" sophomore from California, number 3, Allison Bryant. A 5'10" sophomore from Columbia, South Carolina, number 8, Jordan Ward. A 6'1" junior from Lexington, North Carolina, number 9, Ashley Johnson. A 5'10" senior from Brazil, number 12, Patel Miranda. A 5'8" senior from Statesville, North Carolina, number 21, Peyton Meadows. The 5'9" senior from Orlando, Florida, number 24, Ariana Colon. The libero for the Catawba College Catawba Indians. A 5'6" sophomore from Highlands Heights, Colorado, number 26, Gabrielle Kuzma. The Catawba is coached by Patrick Nicholas, assisted by Catherine Griffith. And now, ladies 2, Blake Sherry. And Valero, a 5'9" sophomore from Houston, Tennessee. Number 9, Hayden Barton. Carson-Newman is coached by Ashley Tiernan, assisted by Matt Volleyball, athletic trainer, Kelsey Lloyd, and special happy birthday to our assistant coach, now, let's do volleyball.
Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to Holt Fieldhouse as we get set for first serve in one of the oldest rivalries in the South Atlantic Conference for the 71st all-time meeting. It's Carson-Newman and Catawba. Eagles have dominated the recent stretch. 7 consecutive wins. Let's see if Carson-Newman can win back-to-back matches here this evening and win an 8th straight against the Indians of Catawba. Home opener, South Atlantic Conference opener, and a fun night of volleyball on tap here from Holt Fieldhouse. Michael Watrang with you. Glad that you're tuning in for this broadcast and our great crew on the Eagle Sports Network. Eagles clad in the white uniform tops and the navy spandex. Hayden Barton, the libero, will wear the navy uniform top. Catawba on the other side, they have the navy uniform tops and bottoms on, while the libero for Coach Patrick Nicholas is number 26, Gabrielle Kuzma, the sophomore from Highland Ranch, Colorado. That pipeline of that state continues to produce great players in the Southeast region. One on each side out there in the starting lineup. Abby Hildenbrand, the Carson-Newman setter, also from Colorado. And that's where Carson-Newman was 2 years ago when they won the region championship, eventually playing Rockhurst. And the Eagles trying to get back there yet again this year and be the first team to defend its region championship since Wingate did it nearly a decade ago. We're ready to lock and load. The sophomore McKenna Hall is back to serve for the Eagles. The Wisconsin native starts us off, and a challenging serve sends Catawba back. Eagles get an opportunity here with Blake Cherry, the freshman, after a very, very fine close to the opening weekend. Gets the opening kill, and we're off and rolling here from Holt Fieldhouse. Cherry had a tough first match, as most freshmen do, but boy, did she bounce back very, very well after that. One of the top outside hitters in that USC and Aiken Invitational. Another really good serve, but it does result in a swing for Catawba. Now Hildenbrand turns and takes a whack at it. It hits the roof, and then a right-hand free ball to the middle of the floor. Kieran finds an empty space in her first match of the season. Taylor Kieran puts Carson-Newman ahead 2-0. Kieran missing the opening weekend, out with a little bit of a nick and a bruise, but she's back out there. The sophomore transitioning into the middle, played right side last year in every match for Coach Ashley Tiernan. Hall again, another great serve. This one is going to result in an ace. Really good service game going right now from the Bristol, Wisconsin native, just outside of Milwaukee. And a 3-0 lead for the Eagles, and a saucy start for CN. Hall has played all over the floor. She serves this one. Another tough one, but much better pass. Flicked over. Hall answers. Cherry, tap, cross court. Backside set, and a little right-hand punch. Hildenbrand steps to it. Barton will set up a back row attack from Julia Wheeler, the Tennessee Tech transfer. Sends it over. Now a very strong swing, decisive from Ariana Colon. The senior from Orlando gets Catawba on the scoreboard. Really good rifle there from Cologne. And with Carson-Newman on top by a deuce, serve coming from Miranda. Hildenbrand in the middle. Kieran strikes it solidly to the ground, and Carson-Newman has won 4 of the first 5 in a welcome return for Taylor Kieran. Really athletic player just outside of Columbus, Ohio. Bringing her talents down here to Mossy Creek, and she's showing why she could be a difference maker for this club. Cologne hits it into the block, stays in bounds. Carson-Newman's block answers the bell. Hildenbrand and Kieran. Phenomenal start right now by Carson-Newman. The service game has forced Catawba out of system as Cherry serves. Tad too strong here. That was one of Carson-Newman's problems over the weekend, They had a lot of aces, including the 15 against Converse to wrap up the weekend, but they had their fair share of miscues. Deep serve, Hall retreats. Hildenbrand sets up Wheeler, first time out of the front row. A little shimmy to the front. Roll shot comes back for Cherry. To the middle, Kieran. Good sliding stop by Cologne. Over towards the sideline. Good hustle from Kuzma, but doesn't track it down in time, and a solid 6-2 open to this match for Carson-Newman. Well, it's a team that started the year 0-3. Very rarefied air there, and Carson-Newman trying to continue their reign in this facility. Eagles are 23-3 in their last 26 matches here at Holt Fieldhouse. 2 of those 3 losses needed 5 sets. So it has been very difficult to beat Carson-Newman here as this serve goes out of bounds. And a point to Catawba. The Eagles have been ultra dynamic here in this facility. 13 sweeps over their last 33 home matches, 26 of those wins. Cherry's pass sends Hildenbrand to this near side. Now Wheeler to Cologne out of the back row. Cologne will want to take a swing from the back row. Good sliding stop from the preseason all-conference pick in Barton. Hall gets blocked at the net, kept alive by Weaver. Then Wheeler gets blocked. Barton saves it. Probably was going out of bounds. She didn't know that though. Good hustle. And then it's put to the ground. Strong swing from Allison Bryant. And for the first time in the match, Catawba has won back-to-back points to make it 6-4. Very nice crowd here inside of this facility. Fans still rifling in to Holt Fieldhouse for tonight's contest. Ashley Johnson, the middle blocker from Lexington, North Carolina, serves all the way across the floor and toes it too far. And a 7-4 Carson-Newman advantage as Aaron Edwards comes into the match, replacing Hall, who gave Carson-Newman a very nice rotation out of the back. And now a multi-time all-conference pick in Edwards, one of the most efficient player in Carson-Newman history, is into the front row, and she certainly can be a leader for this group. Very young Carson-Newman roster. On the outside and a block. Look at Edwards and Weaver right out of the gates. The senior from Virginia rings the bell. Excellent block from Edwards. Excellent start from Carson-Newman. 8-4 advantage is Hildenbrand, the Louisiana Tech transfer serve. Outside, off of the high hands by Bryant. Now Edwards, her first swing, and she cuts it down the line. She is so solid from that side, using that left hand to change the look when she's on the floor. 3 unanswered by Carson-Newman. And Hildenbrand back to serve. 39 assists, 10 digs as Carson-Newman has gone to a 5-1 versus the 6-2 they'd been running the last few years. Hildenbrand to the middle. Weaver swipes it. And a net violation on Catawba, and it's 4 unanswered by Carson-Newman. Well, this was a big point of contention for this group. You look back at last week in that USC Aiken Invitational, opponents had 15 scoring runs of 5-0 or better. Carson-Newman only had 6. And they're not going to get one here as this ball goes out of play. Well, I mean, that is a massive, massive difference when you take a look inside some of those statistical figures from that weekend. Carson-Newman did not have a run of 5-0 or better on the first day of competition against Pembroke and Aiken. Bryant rolls it over. Now Hildenbrand tight to the tape. Sets it up for Weaver, who swipes it out of bounds. Carson-Newman had 1 against Embry-Riddle. So you're talking about 1 run of 5-0 or better in the first 3 matches, all losses. 4 against Converse, and they limited the Valkyries to just 2 such runs. That's the difference for the Eagles, is getting on some of those surges as this ball goes into the net. Catawba with back-to-back points and a 3-point edge for the home club, Carson-Newman. This is their longest homestand of the year as well. Just 3 matches in a 32-match schedule. Hildenbrand outside, Wheeler out of bounds. 3 unanswered by Catawba. Well, Carson-Newman Despite being ahead by 2, these attack errors ate them up last week, hitting negative for the first time in recorded history against Embry-Riddle. But Edwards comes through, answers the bell, and gets the Eagles back on the scoreboard and stymies that little burst from Catawba. And now Wheeler will head back to serve. Couple years of experience at Tennessee Tech. Just one match, though, allows her to maintain that redshirt sophomore status for this year. So still 3 years of eligibility. Near side set. Bryant, a really nice swing, and she keeps it in play in the back row. And it's a 2-point differential in the opening frame. 71st all-time meeting, despite the fact that Carson-Newman has won 13 of the last 15. Catawba is still +4, 37-33 all-time against the Eagles. Hildenbrand for Cherry. Don't believe it took a ricochet, although I think the officials were expecting one. And it slides out of play. Another attack error from Carson-Newman, and it's a 1-point differential after Carson-Newman has led by as many as 6. That was at 10-4. So this is a 6-1 Catawba run. Edwards trying to put an end to that, but keeps it in the middle of the floor. Set comes to the middle, and then a high poking ball by Jordan Gore. Weaver can't put it away. Cherry on the joust, punched that in the air. Unable to rescue it after Miranda punched it, and Carson-Newman maintains its lead. We haven't been tied yet in this match. Carson-Newman has led after scoring the first 3 points, and ahead by a deuce. 12-10. So Skylar Weaver, a native of Katy, Texas. A boatload of states represented on this Carson-Newman roster. And a service ace. Excellent serve by Skylar Weaver. Substitute coming here for Catawba. They bring in Carrie Hales, the rookie from Salisbury, the native town of this Catawba group. Outside set, Cologne. Hildenbrand will set up Edwards. It stays inbounds inside of this sideline. An excellent swing from Edwards, and a 4-point Carson-Newman lead. 3 unanswered to respond to that 6-1 burst by Catawba. Carson-Newman at the outset hitting .208 as a group. 9 kills out of their 14 points. Handcuffing the back row of Hales. Basically a roll shot over. Now Sherry hits it into the net. And a 3-point differential. As I mentioned, this is a super youthful group that Carson-Newman has, despite the fact that they have the 5th-year senior Edwards on the floor and a true senior in Hildenbrand, 2 of the 3 seniors on the roster out there. You have a freshman and 3 sophomores, and in essence, those sophomores are technically still in their freshman year. Wheeler from the back row to the middle and tapped over. Hildenbrand, Barton, Edwards, cross floor. Cologne will get another stab at this one and hits it off the high hands. Kieran swipes it to the sideline and hits it out of play. We talk about the spring season. It was a great opportunity to get players experience. Hayden Barton redshirted her first year, but she only played 11 matches last year, so it has been a long time coming for her to get her first taste of true collegiate volleyball, despite this being her 3rd year. She was on that roster that won the region title in 2019. Great experience. She spoke to that. And this ball will eventually find its way into the net. And the lead shrinks down to a point. But there's just that different rigor, and we saw it last weekend. There were no matches last year where you played 4 times in a 2-day period, and the Eagles do that thrice this year. Jump floating serve, Tess Wheeler. Backside set, Edwards off the hands. Now near side, off of the block. Barton there to pluck it out. To the middle, Kieran, she's stuffed. Solo rejection from Ashley Johnson. And we are tied for the first time today. Excellent handwork by the 6'1 junior. And now a chance for Catawba to get its first lead as Kuzma serves and stifles it out of play. Never really gave it a chance as that ball just soared into the atmosphere. And let's see if Carson-Newman can do what they did the last time that McKenna Hall, who checks in, was out there. The Westosha Central products will serve. She started Carson-Newman on a 3-0 scoring run. She floats this, nice knuckler to the back middle. Near side set off of the tape. The block a tad tardy to get over there, and Barton had no chance to get it out of there, and we're deadlocked once more at 15. Miranda, the senior from Brazil. Broward Community College transfer. From the back right, will serve it up. All back pedals, very on-target pass. Kieran's block. How about Johnson in the middle? 2 solo rejections, and for the first time today, Catawba has the lead. So Catawba, a team that's won 2 of its first 5 matches of the year, is in control for the time being as Cherry hits it into the block once more. This is a very stout Catawba block. They're 3rd in the league in rejections, nearly 2 per night so far. And tomorrow, Queens is coming to town, the top blocking unit in the league. And Carson-Newman has now made as many attack errors, aided by the 3 rejections of Catawba, as they have kills, 9 of each so far. So think about that. Catawba has over half of its points on Carson-Newman attack errors. And that does not include the 3 service errors. Catawba only has 4 kills. Self-inflicted wounds, the difference right now for this Carson-Newman club. But as I mentioned, a super youthful group. 7 freshmen, 8 sophomores. There's nary a junior on the roster. And the 3 seniors, 2 are currently in the active rotation. And with that in mind, Carson-Newman trying to find some of that form. You talk about some of that youth on this roster. Taylor Kieran, some solid moments, but 3 attack errors. Blake Cherry, same thing, solid moments, 3 attack errors on 6 swings. And then there's the senior, Aaron Edwards, 3 kills, no mistakes, 7 attacks, hitting .429. So the rest of the group has 6 kills, 9 errors on 25 swings. So let's see how the Eagles respond out of the timeout. Excellent surge here. Call it a 7-1 run for Catawba. And dating back to when Carson-Newman led 10-4, a 13-5 sequence. And after the Ashley Tiernan timeout, Eagles trying to get back into this. Starts with an out-of-system back row attack that nearly went to the ground. Johnson off of the hands, and it falls to the ground. And an excellent surge here by Catawba, and the Indians have seized control in the opening set. Well, there is a ton of time throughout the year, and that's exactly where Carson-Newman's at. Can't make snap reactions after just 4 matches. Barton steps back to it. Hildenbrand sends it over decisively, but good effort by the libero. And then Johnson running a dynamic slide, pummels it to the ground. 5 unanswered points. And now a 9-1 scoring run for Catawba. And the Eagles, just like that, are behind by 4. And once again, back to serve is Miranda. And the Eagles side out here. Cherry, the one that's being asked to do so, and boy, you couldn't place it any better right there. If you're Cherry, flawless tip, finds pavement, and a 3-point match. Opening set play. Glad you're with us. Michael Watrang tuning in with you to watch this one. Bump set, Cologne sends that nearly into the seats, and Carson-Newman will gladly take back-to-back points. Opening set play. Cherry back to serve. Expect her to have a long, flourishing career. The Cookeville, Tennessee native hits it into the net on the serve. Well, I think here's where a lot of coaches want to learn about their team early in the season. On both sides. If you're Catawba, you have a lead. You're late in a set, a chance to put away a team that's scuffling a little bit. On the other side, if you're Carson-Newman, you're still within striking distance. Can you get a side out and start a run? Wheeler hits it into the block. Barton gets a hand to it. Ball struck back over the net by Johnson, and it finds the deck. And a 21-17 Catawba edge. Opening game felt like Carson-Newman was in control. Led all the way until it was 14-13, and Catawba started its run. Wheeler another chance to the middle of the floor. Good sliding effort by Kuzma. Hildenbrand steps back and gets a kill out of it. Athletic play by Abby Hildenbrand. She's one of the more athletic and dynamic players that this league has seen, and would not surprise me at any point this year to see her rack up that triple-double. Eagles will use her out of that right side when she's in the front row. And a kill put away by Bryant. And now it becomes a time, if you're Carson-Newman, that you have to have a stop and find a little bit of a serving rally. Down 4, first set play. And Johnson back to serve. Her block's been a difference maker. Now trying to use that serve. Wheeler steps to it. Outside set, Bryant just taps it off the palm. Wheeler strikes it, finds space on the right side, and Julia Wheeler gets her first kill of the match. Pulls the Eagles within 3 in the first. 22-19, and Hildenbrand back to serve. Well, here's a chance, maybe. One of the better servers on this roster. Slides one down the line. Back row attack from Cologne. Finds Wheeler. Now she gets a chance to put it away. Can only find the middle of the surface. Tapped over by Gore. Barton with the ponytails. Flies it out to Edwards, who's been flawless so far, and she keeps it rolling. Edwards gets the Eagles within a pair on her 4th kill. A match-high leading for the senior all-conference selection. 22-20. First set play from Frosty Holt Fieldhouse. There's some moisture being needed to be wiped up. Well, when we walked into this gym a couple hours ago to get set up, it was an iceberg in here. It was super chilly. You needed a winter coat to be able to walk around. Now it is heating up a little bit as fans waltz in here. Outside set, punched at by Bryant. Hildenbrand once, Edwards again, and that's the perfect answer for the Eagles. And it's a 1-point affair, 3 unanswered. Edwards finding a run, and the Eagles back in business in the first. Excellent play right now by Carson-Newman, and it helps when you have that senior out there. (22-21) in the first. And think about this. Last time we updated you on some of the statistics, 9 kills, 9 errors. Carson-Newman was just flawless in that last stretch. 5 kills, no errors on 11 swings. And it certainly helps when you have a player like Aaron Edwards, who has a career hitting percentage of .273 entering tonight. That is the 7th best of all time. Carson-Newman's history, and she has had a wonderful career. And if you're Catawba, you almost think somebody else has to beat us, because the rest of the Carson-Newman roster, 9 kills, 9 errors so far in this match. It's a 50-50 proposition when somebody other than Aaron Edwards takes a swing. And here in the first set, Carson-Newman has surged back. Trailed by as many as 4. That was at 19-15 and 21-17. They've snuck right back in it. Deep serve, and then Bryant puts it away. Found an empty spot in the back row. And now Catawba back within a pair of putting this match on their shoulders the rest of the way, and going ahead 1-0. Jump floating serve to the back row. Wheeler, high arcing pass. to the middle. Aaron Edwards, wow, what a perfect off-speed pitch. Hildenbrand said, put something away here, and Edwards with a flawless changeup. And once again, Carson-Newman back within a point. Wheeler on serve. Kuzma plucks the pass. Then Bryant through the block, too strong that time. And set point number 1 coming up for Catawba. Catawba has won just 2 sets against Carson-Newman since the start of the 2017 season. One was in the spring and one was in 2018. For the back row, Cherry. Hildenbrand outside, Edwards can't find the ground. Good sprawling stop from Hales. Cologne to the middle of the floor. Hildenbrand, will she dial up Edwards again? No, she goes to the back row. Wheeler keeps it in play. Big time back row swat from Wheeler. And Carson-Newman not done yet in the first. Timeout, Catawba. Second one utilized. Coach Nicholas out of them. And here in the opening set, Carson-Newman within 1. Well, you see some of those moments of brilliance by the Eagles. 16 kills in a set. So far, the most they've had in any set this year. Perfect back row effort from Wheeler. Kept it in play just inside of that back line. And Carson-Newman within a point. Eagles led by as many as 6 and have had some chances to put this one away. But Catawba answered back with a lengthy 9-1 burst. Carson-Newman has stepped back a couple different times. We've had 2 ties and a 1 lead change thus far. And back to serve is Skylar Weaver. 24-23, Catawba in the first. Eagles need another point here to get back, all the way back. Pass to this near side, through the block, and a kill from Miranda. And Catawba closes out the first set. Miranda comes up big. Catawba hits over 200, and the Indians snatch the opening set away from Carson-Newman here at Holt Fieldhouse in the South Atlantic Conference opener. 1 set in the books. Catawba 25-23 winners in the first. We'll step out for a quick break. Second set action coming your way when we return to Holt Fieldhouse in a moment on the Eagles Sports Network. Well, despite Carson-Newman pummeling the ball to the surface 16 times in the opening set, it is Catawba that storms back using a 9-1 run to flip the script on the Eagles and take a 1-0 lead in this match. It'll be Kuzma back to serve for Catawba, and Carson-Newman will try to start off this match and put that, or set rather, and put that first set behind him. Cherry a free ball over after Barton rescued. Backside set, Bryant. Check that, Miranda gives Catawba an early 1-0 lead. Well, this is a Catawba team that certainly has depth on the pins. 4 players came in averaging 2.1 kills or better, and the team leader, Kylie Morgan, at 2.77, a former all-conference selection, hasn't even played. Hildenbrand with the left hand goes to the back row. Good sliding effort, but not able to track back is Kuzma. Carson-Newman back level for the first time since it was 14 apiece. Eagles pulled within a point 3 different times in the opening set. Just never could get all the way back. Pass comes to the middle of the floor and an outside set. Cologne very well handled by Barton, and then a block from Johnson off the deep roll shot. Then Cherry from the back row keeps it in play. Perfect trajectory and a great arc to hit it to the back right. 2-1. Carson-Newman on top. Eagles led by as many as 6 points in the first set. Cherry serves just out of bounds. Well, Carson-Newman making some mistakes, and that's really been the difference in the match. If the Eagles could buckle that down, would be in a much better position. That's 5 service errors already by this group. Cherry passes. Hildenbrand will give it up to the back row. Look at Hall out of the back. Solid swing. Punched at by Miranda. Barton once again will set up Hildenbrand, and a left-hand play by Miranda. Great sliding stop by Medic. The setter, now Wheeler. Nice off speed as she reached into the air. Just had it ricochet off of her palm perfectly, and it finds an empty spot in the Catawba defense. 3-2. Carson-Newman on top. And Barton will head back to serve. Preseason all-conference pick after becoming the 9th Carson-Newman player in history to earn all-freshman laurels. Cologne. Cherry with a pass to the 10-foot line. Goes Hildenbrand. Wheeler across the floor. Picked out of there by Kuzma. Cologne will get another chance. What a wonderful pass by Cherry. And then Wheeler into the block. Excellent reaction time to keep it alive. Slide from Johnson. Barton all over it. Hildenbrand to the back row attack for Hall. Pass comes very tight. It's blocked by Weaver after Medic tapped it over. Cologne. Lengthiest rally we've had so far. Weaver. Johnson running the slide, hitting it off of Carson-Newman's hands, and it goes out of play. And Catawba back even. We've traded the first 6 rallies so far. 3 ties. We had just 2 of them in the first set, and so far 3 in this second stanza. And a serve coming here for Ariana Cologne, and she puts it into the net. Carson-Newman will gladly take the lead as Aaron Edwards is back onto the floor. 6 kills, 11 swings. She's hitting .545. That'll help the efficiency numbers after she entered this match with as many kills as she had errors so far this season. As that ball hits the deck from Bryant. Four apiece in the second. Catawba coming back to win the first, 25-23. Deep serve and out of bounds. Cherry was backpedaling, thinking, and then finally realized that she'd covered a lot of ground and that ball was going to go out of play. 5-4. Carson-Newman leads, trying to bust this pattern where the teams have traded points so far. And they cannot do so as Wheeler stuffs it in the net. 5 ties, and we're tied at 5. So that speaks to where we're at right now in this match. back and forth in the South Atlantic Conference opener. Hildenbrand will set up Edwards. She's been dynamic there, and it continues as she gets the kill, and the ball ends up in the back row of the bleachers. And a 6-5 Carson-Newman advantage. And now another chance to take the first 2-point lead for either side in this match. Weaver had an ace earlier. This time floats it to Bryant. Bryant will step forward and hit it off the hands. Wheeler did a good job to get a piece of it, but really couldn't do much with it as she was going to her left. We're tied at 6. Back and forth we go in the second. Well, Catawba winning just their 3rd set since the start of 2017. The last win for Catawba against Carson-Newman came in 2016. Kieran hits it off of the hands. Pass goes to the back row, and a roll shot from a standing Hales. Now Edwards off of the hands of Kuzma, and once again, Aaron Edwards racks up another. That's number 8 for Edwards, and it regains the lead for Carson-Newman. Catawba swept the season series that year. They won in 5 in October of 2016 in this facility, their last win at Holt Fieldhouse. And a service ace from McKenna Hall. Excellent serve by Hall. And she can certainly rack these up with the best of them. She floats it to the back middle. Pass comes to this near sideline, and now a free ball coming over towards Hall. Pass to Hildenbrand. Now Cherry off of the block. It stays in play. Wouldn't have mattered. And a kill. And Carson-Newman has won 3 unanswered. For Cherry, that is her 5th kill now. Hall again on serve. Backside set and a block. Kieran and Cherry. Look at the roof that they raise to send it back. 10-6, 4 unanswered points. Carson-Newman pulling away in the second. Pass comes to the middle of the floor. Cologne, soft roll shot, Cherry. Hildenbrand gives it to the freshman. Gore able to pluck it off the net. Outside Cologne, this one's way out of bounds. 5 unanswered for Carson-Newman. And the lead is swelled to 5. So after we exchange the first 12 rallies, Coach Patrick Nicholas calls for time, and it gives us a chance to step out for a break. 11-6, Carson-Newman in control in the second. And we're back with more in a moment on the Eagle Sports Network. Carson-Newman fell shy in the first, and it was a dogfight for the first 12 points of the second, but the Eagles have won 5 in a row, and they've turned the tables from a 6-6 tie up to an 11-6 lead for Carson-Newman. Here in the second set, McKenna Hall heads back to serve. And her service game has been a dynamic one so far for this group. And another challenging one, much better pass this time, and it's put to the ground. very solid swing once more from Miranda, who's starting to see her numbers tick up. That's kill number 4, and the majority of those have come in the last 10 to 15 points. But it does put an end to Carson-Newman's 5 unanswered streak. And let's see if Catawba has an answer yet again, just like they did in the first. Jump floating serve for Wheeler. Pass goes to Hildenbrand. She taps it over. Set comes to the middle. It's poked. Barton with a pancake. Punched at by Cherry. Hall. Hildenbrand taps it over. Good sliding stop from Hales, but the Eagles specialists come through strong. The pancake from Barton, and then the dinner special from Hildenbrand to put it away. 12-7. Carson-Newman's lead, and Cherry back to serve. True freshman. First match ever here inside of this gym. Outside set, Cologne hits it off of the block. Johnson gets to it. Hales does a great job to save it, and it's free-balled over by Cologne. Hildenbrand slides to it and puts it down. Well, she's such a dynamic piece up front, and Catawba, expecting the setter to put it up for a teammate, instead saw Hildenbrand circle around it and use the right arm to put it away. Tied for the largest lead of the match at 6 now, 13-7. Tapped over Hall. Hildenbrand to the middle, Kieran. Now Cologne. And Hall's pass. Hildenbrand was trying to avoid Kieran, unable to do so, and Catawba will gladly take the point. And right now, Carson-Newman is taking advantage of this Catawba group. And how about the Eagles? 8 kills, no miscues, 20 swings, hitting a spicy 400. Miranda serves. Hildenbrand outside, Wheeler, and another one. Carson-Newman just on fire right now. Not making any mistake about it and leading by 6 once again. And Barton back to serve. Eagles trying to keep this good times rolling here in the second set. And a great serve from Barton and a service ace. That's number 4 for the Eagles, and it's the largest lead of the match at 7 points for Carson-Newman. Well, Barton had 5 of them in that 4-set win against Converse last weekend, a career high. Overpass, Weaver nearly put it away. Good rescuing effort from Miranda, and then Cologne sends it to the Carson-Newman bench. This is a 10-2 Carson-Newman scoring run. Eagles have won 3 straight. And since we were tied at 6, Carson-Newman in full control. And just trying to put this one away. Morgan Childress is into the match. Outside set, Cologne finds real estate in the back. Well, this is around the time that Catawba in the opening set was able to find a scoring run. Carson-Newman led 14-10 after leading by as many as 6, and this is when Catawba started to run. Hildenbrand outside for Wheeler. She's blocked, and that's what was a big catalyst for Catawba in that opening set. Starting with Johnson out of the middle. Back-to-back points for Catawba. And a 6-point Carson-Newman lead still. And Cologne back to serve. Cherry will pick it up. And she'll get a hack out of it from the back row, and she sends it out of play. Well, it took 25 swings until Carson-Newman made a miscue. 5-point second set. Hildenbrand. Cherry will get another chance at it. This time she keeps it in play. Johnson racing to it. Sidearm swing over. Hildenbrand takes a hack. Cologne's pass. Bryant to the back corner. Hildenbrand near side. Wheeler. One of the arms of Kuzma. Bryant. Right hand rifle. And it is 4 unanswered from Catawba. And just like that, an 8-point Carson-Newman lead has turned into a 4-point margin. Good sliding stop. And then Cologne from the back row. Cherry. Perfect pass. Hildenbrand gets another one. Abby Hildenbrand with 5 kills. She is firmly on that triple-double watch. 18 assists, 5 kills, 4 digs. Her 5 kills are now second most on the team and third among all players in the match. Good news for Carson-Newman. They're inching closer to that magical 20 number. Typically the team that gets to 20 first wins. And Johnson sends this out of play, and the Eagles responding well after the 4 unanswered from Catawba. 18-12 opening set. Hildenbrand. Perfect serve, and another ace. The senior from Colorado doing it all. And a timeout from Catawba. We'll step out for a quick one as well. Eagles ahead by 7, looking to pull even in the match, down 1-0. Well, Abby Hildenbrand is doing it all in her first ever effort here in this facility. And her serve has Carson-Newman ahead by 7, and then the block. Wheeler and Weaver combined. 4 unanswered by Carson-Newman, the lead back up to 8. And Carson-Newman inching closer to finishing up this second set, pulling even. Hard overpass. Eagles have to retreat to play it. Ben Edwards into the netting, and it bounces off the netting into the body of Catawba and back into the netting, and the Eagles have won 5 straight. And just been a sensational second set for Carson-Newman, hitting .290 as a group. Outside set, Bryant. She puts an end to that. So 5 unanswered. Catawba back in it. Down 8. And it certainly feels like right now, if you're Carson-Newman, an opportunity to glide to the coastline. Substitute coming. Mackenzie Folk, senior from East Bend, North Carolina. 21-13. And a serve into the net from Johnson. Well, everything has gone Carson-Newman's way here in the second set. Carson-Newman dropping the opening game. They're trying to flip the script here. When trailing 1-0 under Ashley Tiernan, the team does have 5 wins in 14 tries. Outside set, Bryant off of the block. Gore's pass has some side English to it. Then Bryant with a punch and perfectly executed. Sliding effort from Barton comes up empty. And a 22-14 second set. Well, Catawba came back to win the opening game, and if Carson-Newman can keep this roll moving along, should be able to tie this up. Hildenbrand's set, off timing with Weaver. 22-15. Jump floating serve. Wheeler. Weaver. Now Bryant. Out of bounds. 2 points away here in the second. Carson-Newman 23-15. And Weaver back to serve. Tyler Weaver, sophomore, serves it, and another good one, and another ace. Weaver's second of the match, and set point for the first time in tonight's affair. And Weaver will tee it up. 24-15, Eagles pulling away in the second. After a 6-6 start, a 10-2 Carson-Newman run, and they haven't looked back since. Blocked by Carson-Newman's front. Outside, over the block this time, and it stays in play just down the line, and Catawba lives to fight for at least one more point. 24-16. Second set. Terry Hales will serve it up there. Cherry backpedals. Hildenbrand. Edwards can't put it away, but a great sprawling stop by Barton. Cherry slides it out of bounds. Catawba back within a touchdown. Jump floating serve. Cherry. Hildenbrand will give it to the middle, and Kieran, and Taylor Kieran caps the second set. A strong second stanza by the Eagles, and Carson-Newman pulls even in the match. Solid effort from Hildenbrand in the frame, and the Eagles take control early in the second and hold him off at the end. 25-17, Eagles win the second. We're tied at 1 apiece. We'll have the third set coming for you. A big make-or-break set for one of these programs when we come back in the SAC opener in the 2021 Carson-Newman home opener on the Eagle Sports Network. Well, it's not often when you're looking at the stat sheet that you would include a setter as one of your best offensive weapons, but between Aaron Edwards and Abby Hildenbrand, Carson-Newman's duo, the seniors, 14 kills, no errors, 27 attacks, 519 hitting percentage. The rest of the team, 14 kills, 12 errors, 54 swings. That's a .037 hitting clip. So can somebody else step up for the Eagles here in the third? Tied at one set apiece. It's a block from Hildenbrand and Kieran. And Hildenbrand, I think, might have stepped on somebody's shoe as she came down on that. And that's certainly something that the Eagles can ill afford with what she's done so far, though they do have Taylor Rohr on the bench, who's been the team's top assist producer over the last 2 seasons. 1-0, Eagles on top. Hall's been great on serve, and she's done it again. Well, McKenna Hall's serve has just been dynamic. We talked about it in the spring. You get a player from the middle of the country in the heartland of Wisconsin. You get a high IQ player, and that is exactly what Hall is. She helps the team in so many ways, and the serve has been her key in this match. Perfectly tapped over by Medic. You can see Hayden Barton hit the deck on that one, and not a whole lot she could do about it, and that's what setters have. And that's why Hildenbrand has the 5 kills so far. Firmly on triple-double watch in this one. Deep serve, and the pass comes to the middle. Hildenbrand near side. Cherry, cross-floor swing. Bump set outside, and the right-hand rifle. Out of there by Wheeler. Into the block goes Cherry. Eagles keeping it alive. Hildenbrand to the back middle. Now a right side effort that goes way out of play by Miranda. Well, records are tough to come by when you talk about triple doubles for Carson-Newman. And from what I have glanced at, there isn't a triple double on the ledger, although it would take maybe a little more time on my part to look it up. But you would think Hildenbrand has a shot of making that happen at some point this season. As I mentioned, 5 kills, 20 assists, only 4 digs though. Surprising that the digs number would be the harder to come by, although in the 5-1 setup, harder for her to do so. So after the block from Catawba and a 1-point margin, Hall has to step to it and roll shot it to the back row. Childress now wearing the libero jersey. A block, it's Kieran and Hildenbrand that come up with it. Carson-Newman's block starting to play well. That's 6 of them now by the Talons Up crew. 4-2. The lead is a deuce. And Barton back to serve. Medic outside Miranda. Barton, very good pass. Had to shuffle her arms to the left. And then Hall slides it over. Near side set over the block. Sliding effort by Cherry and can't come up with it. Catawba back within 1. Well, this is a really decisive set when it comes down to it. Because then, truly, you only need to win 15 points the rest of the way. Because you could win in 5 at that point, and the pressure's off of you in the 4th. Near side set, Wheeler out of bounds. Net violation, though, on Catawba will give Carson-Newman the point. When tied after 2 sets, under coach Ashley Tiernan, the Eagles are 6-2. Well, you unpack some numbers from there. If Carson-Newman is ahead 2-1, they're 11-1. If they trail 2-1, just 1 win in 5 tries. Upset outside, Cologne. Hildenbrand, perfect on target, right-hand punch. Now Edwards to the middle of the surface. Aaron Edwards into double figures. Dynamic night for the senior. First time this year she's eclipsed double digits, 34th in her career. Bump set outside, Cologne to the back row. Cherry picks it out. Now Wheeler right down the line, keeps it in bounds, a touch regardless. Carson-Newman's won 3 unanswered after Wheeler's strong rifle. Well, Carson-Newman used a big surge, a 10-2 run in the second to pull away. Hildenbrand's serve this time around is short. Carson-Newman has done a wonderful job spreading the wealth. 5 players have 4 kills or more. And hitting 200 as a team, that first set miscue, starting to be an aberration more than it is something that you could lock in from time to time. As this swing hits off of Carson-Newman's hands and hits the deck, 7-5. Carson-Newman has led throughout, won the first 2 points. Have led by as many as 4. Cherry to Hildenbrand. Now Edwards out of the middle. Childress with a good play. Medic does a great job of getting to it. I don't know if she hit the net, but I think she went underneath, and that's a situation where it's all about the safety of the players. She might have grazed the net, but certainly went too far under as well. Wheeler back to serve. 3-point lead in hand. Pass comes to the middle. Medic near side. Miranda pokes it. Edwards digs. Near side. Cherry cross floor. Medic to the middle. Johnson finds empty real estate. Catawba back within a deuce. Well, it's super important this early in the season to win matches like this for either side. Carson-Newman's 1-3. Catawba's 2-3. Serve comes from Miranda. Hildenbrand will give it up for Edwards off of the block. Childress slides to it. Cologne. Barton overpass. Joust. Net violation on Weaver. She thought she got away with it. She would have won the point. It would have hit the ground. But no such call. As I was saying, when your winning percentage is under 500 at this point, you don't want to let these slide away, because then your team starts to think that this is who you are as a club, and it starts to snowball. To the middle, Johnson puts it down on the overpass. And we're tied at 8. 3-0 run from Catawba. On the other side, you start winning matches like this. You put the losses in the rear view, and you start to find a new identity as a team. So big third set here, tied at 8. In the set, 1 in the match. Wheeler out of the back row. This will hit the backboard. Kept alive by Hales. Then a free ball comes over. Hildenbrand sets it up backside. Edwards. Medic will get to it. Cologne into the block. What a roadblock by Weaver and Edwards. That is a big time rejection. Those two combined. Edwards always been bouncy. Skylar Weaver showing off the springs as well. And the Eagles back on top. Well, I think as well in that sequence, if the ball hits that area of the court, you don't keep playing. The point goes to whoever attacked the ball. Edwards in the block this time. It sticks out of bounds. No touch from Catawba. Back-to-back from the Eagles. Edwards continues her flawless affair. 12 kills on 20 swings. Hitting 6 bills right now, and a superb effort after she sat out the Converse match. Weaver to the back middle. Medic. Cologne into the block. What a great sliding effort by Hales, and then I'm not sure why Cologne did that. If she would have kept that alive, it would have kept rolling. So after Catawba wins 3 straight, Carson-Newman wins 3 straight and gets the lead back to 3 points. It's been as many as 4 in this set. Third set action here, and Weaver sends it over. Now Johnson. This goes out of bounds. I didn't see a touch. The officials reward a touch. I assume that it was Edwards the one that touched it. She's smiling, so it doesn't appear as if she disagrees with the call, but none of the officials, at least in the moments right after that point, weren't motioning for a touch. So now here's Kylie Morgan for the first time, the senior, a former all-conference pick, the team leader in kills per set, hits the intent on the serve. Oh, that's a tough spot. You come in the third set, you're a little icy. Particularly when you're a player like Morgan, who typically is a 6th rotation outside. But she has struggled in her career against Carson-Newman, has had a lot of tough nights. Hall back to serve, and she puts it in the net. Gets Catawba back within a deuce, 12-10. Well, Carson-Newman, after that slip shot open to the matchup, in which the Eagles made 9 attack errors, have just 4 since. That bodes well for this group. Kieran taps it to the back. Set, flicked over, Hildenbrand. Barton for Cherry. Wow, perfectly placed, and Morgan a tad late to get back there. Cherry will take it. 6 kill for her. She actually leads the team right now in digs, has 13 scoops. And Cherry will now serve it up there. Morgan, good pass. Bryant into the net. 4-point Carson-Newman lead once more. 14-10, third set. Carson-Newman led by 4 in the first. A 9-1 run from Catawba changed the deck and gave the Indians the lead as Cherry sends this out of play. Carson-Newman then, after it was tied at 6 in the second, won 10 of 12 and pulled away to win the second. Ahead by 3 in the third. Hildenbrand sends it over, but right to Morgan. Now outside, Bryant shuffles it off of the block. Hildenbrand spikes it back and flicked over. Set to Wheeler. She just punches it, basically a free ball. Near side set, Miranda had to wait for it. Mistimed her jump. Hildenbrand sends it over. Lunged at by Bryant. Now Miranda into the block. Childress recovers. Bryant again. Cherry another good pass. Wheeler to the middle of the floor, and Carson-Newman will take it. 15-11. And a yellow card has been issued. I believe that this is on Patrick Nicholas. How often do you see a yellow card given in volleyball? It is, I mean, you have to do something that really catches the attention of the officiating crew to get one. And it happens right here. Childress will go explain what happened. And I'm not 100% sure what the explanation is. So now a substitute. Morgan Pearson, the senior from Richmond Hill, Georgia, into the match for the first time. 15-11, Carson-Newman on top. Barton serves. Outside set, Miranda into the net. 5-point lead, largest of the set for Carson-Newman. Time starting to get away from Catawba, and Carson-Newman starting to find its rhythm here in the third. Another good serve from Barton. Outside, Miranda. Sliding stop, Cherry towards the seats. Hildenbrand tried to toe the line, couldn't get over there in time. Catawba back into the scoring column. 16-12, third set. Well, Catawba did have that run in that first set, but it feels like Carson-Newman is righted the ship. The mistakes have gone out the window. They're playing much cleaner volleyball. Wheeler across the floor. Childress absorbs. Then it's poked into the air. It looked like that might have been a net touch potentially on Medic. And I think she got away with it. And she certainly looked like she may have had a little bit of a guilty roll there, but it ricochets off of Carson-Newman's block, and Catawba takes it down 3. Hale serves. Cherry sends it over. Wheeler has to backpedal, and then Cherry has to send it over, but a high arcer. Medic, backside set, and it hits the deck in front of Hall. And Catawba is within 2. 3 unanswered. 16-14, third set. Hales back to serve. Jump floating effort. Hall passes. Wheeler off of the block. Childress tried to dive for it, couldn't do it. And a clutch swing there from Wheeler, number 8 for the senior, or the sophomore rather. 17-14. Hildenbrand serves. Morgan, her first swing of the match from the front row. Hildenbrand passes, Wheeler down the line. Medic right along the tape. Morgan another chance. Down the line, and Kylie Morgan, the team leader in kills per set, hits the ground. 17-15, third set. Starting to feel some of that intensity. Both teams want to get off to a 1-0 start in league play. Eagles have done so in 6 of the last 7 years. And this serve goes way out of play. Carson-Newman, a 7-0 start in 2014 is their best, but typically you can pencil in an early win in league action. They have been great when it's come to starting conference play. Morgan. Cherry with a good pass. Hildenbrand will give it up. Wheeler out of the back row, and the slow roller. Miranda down the line and to the ground. Catawba back within 2, and now we go back and forth like we have so often in this match already. Blow for blow. Back and forth we roll here in the third. Thanks for tuning into this one. Michael Watrang providing the sights and sounds here with our great crew on the Eagle Sports Network. Hildenbrand to the middle, tapped over by Weaver. Outside set, Morgan. Wheeler with a great on-target pass and a chance for Edwards. She had to step aside, but everything's working right now for Edwards. Number 13, a little unorthodox, but Carson-Newman will take it. And that is a back-breaking blow for Catawba. They had a chance where Edwards was lunging to her left, but the senior got it over. She's hitting .619. Pass comes to the middle of the court. Outside set, Morgan with both hands has to push it over. And now Hildenbrand steps to it. Right hand swing, Weaver. Hildenbrand picks out Wheeler off of the block. To the middle of the floor, backside set, Johnson. Weaver with a great pass, keeps it in play. Outside set, Morgan. Off of the block, Kieran and Edwards. Carson-Newman leads by 4. Sensational high hands. Block number 9 for Carson-Newman. And a timeout from Catawba. Eagles on top, a chance to go ahead 2-1. Well, it's been a busy day around the rest of the South Atlantic Conference. There's still a lot of teams that are kickstarting their years with a variety of tournaments. Hillsdale swept Lenore-Ryan. That's a tough matchup. Hillsdale in that middle part of the country that just dominates Division II volleyball for the most part, outside of your California clubs or Florida schools. Other scores that finished up earlier, Coker took down Converse in 4 frames. USC Aiken takes down Limestone in 4. American International makes it a sweep of LR on the day by taking down the Bears 3-1. Mars Hill blitzes past Young Harris in straight sets. That's in the King tournament up the road in Bristol, Tennessee. That was a sweep for Mars Hill. Other games currently happening in league play. Queens and Lincoln Memorial. Carson-Newman will see both of those teams over the next 4 days. As Queens wins set 1, 25-16. Boy, what a day by Queens' offense. 382 hitting percentage. 5 different players with multiple swats in that one. And these are the only conference matches currently going on around the rest of the conference. Well, Carson-Newman has rung the bell here in the third. Eagles have led for the duration. We have not been tied either. 20-16 in the third. Weaver on serve. This time it's too far. But she did a great job on serve, as well as manning her position in the back. 20-17. Morgan heads back to serve. She put it in the net the last time she was back there. Critical serve coming up here. Keeps it in play. Hildenbrand gives it up to the senior. Edwards taps. Medic, slide, Johnson into the net. Back to a 4-point margin. And McKenna Hall back to serve. Well, if you're Carson-Newman, you dial it up pretty well here. You got a few really good servers on that bench. McKenna Hall, one of the team's best options back there. An asset, gets a great serve, and it nearly ended up as an ace. Hildenbrand over. Well, the advantage now on Catawba, but out of system was Johnson as she was sliding over. Now Cherry. It looked like she hit it behind the antenna, but it finds the ground. Finally found the space, and it's a 5-point lead, largest of the set, 22-17. And a timeout from Catawba gives us a chance to step out. Indians trail by 5. Carson-Newman with a chance to go ahead 2-1. We'll see how this one plays out. Stick with us here on the Eagle Sports Network. (22-17), Carson-Newman in the third. The Eagles have led throughout this set. And after dropping the first 25-23, Eagles won the second, and with a chance to close out the third. Outside it rolls, and the swing finds the arms of Cherry, who will get another opportunity at it. Off of the block, to the ground, and Carson-Newman has a 6-point lead. And the Eagles soaring. They've committed just 4 errors since that opening set. They have 10 kills, or 11 kills now, and just 1 misfire in this third. Another good serve from Hall, testing the middle of the floor, and Miranda. Passed by Hall, near side, Cherry. And another one. Blake Cherry starting to find a rhythm, now 9 kills, second most on the roster, and the freshman gives Carson-Newman set point in the third. All a chance to close it out. 4 unanswered by the Eagles. Pass to the middle, Johnson, Hall, great pass. Hildenbrand, though, sends it over, and they're going to whistle her for a ball handling error. Catawba pulled within a 17-15 tally. Since that point, 7-2 up until that ball handling miscue from Hildenbrand. Serve, that was probably going out of bounds. Kieran sends it over though. Back row attack, Miranda. Chance for the Eagles here. Hildenbrand turns around, hits it through the block, puts it on the ground. Abby Hildenbrand caps it with her 6th kill, and Carson-Newman goes ahead 2-1. Carson-Newman has come back after that late flourish by Catawba. The Eagles, in the first set rather, the Eagles have found the answer in the last 2 and are 1 set away from winning back-to-back matches for the first time this year. And start the SAC season with a win for the 7th time in the last 8 years. Third set action coming up in a moment as we step out for a break. This is the Eagle Sports Network. Carson-Newman has not trailed since the first set when they lost 25-23. Since then, it's been all Eagles as Kieran starts off the fourth set rather, with a touch from Catawba. And a point to the Eagles to start it off. It's Taylor Kieran getting in on the act. Carson-Newman great over the last two sets. 25 kills, just 5 attack errors, and that's been the biggest reason why they've been able to win these last two sets. No more self-inflicted wounds. Miranda through the hands of Hildenbrand. That's out at one apiece. Miranda has 11 kills. Bryant has 10. Catawba has used a bevy of players. Kieran blocked. Johnson again. 6 blocks from Catawba. 4 have been off the paws of Johnson. And it's 2-1. Well, Catawba needs this fourth to hang around. Short serve and into that. And a deadlock to 2. Well, if you're Carson-Newman, you want to put this away right here, not deal too much further into this match. Fifth sets are always dicey. Barton serves. Pass comes near the 10-foot line. Pass goes outside. Cologne. Cherry. Hildenbrand. Back row attack. Hall across the floor. It stays in bounds. Excellent swing from Hall, and the Eagles back ahead by 1. That's a tough swing from the back row, right side, cross the court. Medium depth. Set to the middle. Johnson taps it over. Hall, they're going to give her credit for the pancake. And now the officials say, no, she did not get there in time. The line judge to our right made the call right away, pointed his flag at the ground saying that ball hit the surface. The officials just didn't see it yet. Dara Kane, the junior from Normal, Illinois, into the match for the first time to serve. She jump floats it up there. Hall passes and off target. And a 4-3 lead for Catawba. Carson-Newman ahead 2-1. Well, we need a 5th. All on Catawba now. The Indians find some of that form of the first. Jump serve. Cherry passes. Now Wheeler into the block. All the bodies were over there. Then Hildenbrand taps. Childress gets to it. Cologne off of the block. Hall's there. Wheeler off of the block. Now Hildenbrand. A lot of ricocheting happening here along the middle. Tapped over by Medic. Hildenbrand. Weaver. Great right-handed punch by Bryant. Cologne will just aid it over. Hildenbrand to the middle. Weaver out of bounds. They are calling a touch to our right-hand side. And Patrick Nicholas cannot believe the call. I mean, it certainly didn't look like from this vantage point that there was a touch. But the 2 lead officials say yes, indeed. And Carson-Newman gets the benefit to tie it up at 4. Hildenbrand serves. Overpass. And a whistle. And a back row attack by Kane as she leaped into the air to get it over the net. Carson-Newman's won back-to-back points and circle that potential call that went against Catawba. Cologne punched at by Hildenbrand, then the right hand from Weaver, and a free ball sends Childress retreating. To the middle, Johnson. Number 9 for Johnson. Tied at 5. Well, this has a lot of the same feel of that second set. We went blow for blow, tied at 6. Then Carson-Newman won 10 of 12 and pulled away. Five apiece. Kylie Morgan back to serve. Made in high school product in the Tar Heel State. Wheeler Out of bounds. Morgan had it covered the whole way, looked to the ground and said, yep, that's heading out of play. Carson-Newman find a way to close it out. Serve goes back for Cherry. Hildenbrand. Edwards out of the middle. She's blocked. How about the day from Johnson? She has been ultra dynamic as a blocker up front. Third solo block, 3 block assists. It's 4.5 total. Set comes for Weaver to the back row. And Morgan. Now Bryant just punches it, swipes it over towards Barton, and then Weaver drops the hammer. Skylar Weaver with a flawless touch. Powerful. Well, Johnson has been a target in the middle. 6 solo blocks entering today. She's got 3 more tonight. Averaging nearly a block a set, and she gets another punishing blast, hitting .390 entering this evening. Johnson has been great out of the middle. Just trying to get a little bit of help. Now double figures in kills. She has 4.5 total blocks. She's hitting nearly 500, and she serves. Hildenbrand to the middle. Weaver, what great hang time and using the length to climb the ladder an extra step and put it down. 8-7 Catawba. Skylar Weaver back to serve. I'll tell you what, Weaver has taken a nice step forward here 6 months after the spring season. Pass comes to the middle, now outside, off of the high hands. Wheeler, Edwards, will knuckle her to the back, and by having a little bit of a change in pace, it gets Carson-Newman the point, and we are tied for the 6th time, and it comes at 8 apiece. Fourth set, Carson-Newman trying to win it. Weaver, back row. Now near side, Medic not setting anymore, playing the right side. Then across the floor and out of bounds. Carson-Newman's back on top thanks to 3 straight. And timeout from Catawba. Well, it's really kind of been hit and miss for Carson-Newman in terms of their first home contest of the year. 16-12. They've won 3 straight home openers in 5 of the last 7. But overall, just kind of a flip of the coin. Overall, Carson-Newman in the history of its program, 14-15 in the first conference match of the year. So trying to get back to 500 in that category. Eagles have taken a 9-8 advantage. Erin Edwards has made her first attack error of the day, but she still has 14 kills and is hitting .542. Abby Hildenbrand has cooled off a little bit in terms of that triple-double pace. 35 assists, 8 digs, 6 kills. Would need one of those second set type efforts to pile up those kills to get back into that picture. If I remember correctly, I think Taylor Dubray of Coker had a few triple-doubles a couple years ago. And really in the league, you get 2 or 3 in a season, and that is good enough to lead the conference and be one of the best in the country. But certainly for Hildenbrand, not necessarily about those digits. Would love to have him, but you want the win even more. And after starting the year with 3 straight losses, a chance to get back on the right footing and start a winning streak. This would be 2 in a row if they can get it right in the middle of this homestand. So out of the timeout from Catawba, Weaver serves. Childress's pass goes outside Bryant, and she puts it down. We're tied at 9. Well, it is really incredible looking at Catawba. They have used a boatload of players. I think it's 8 players that weren't in that starting rotation of 7 or 8 players. Cherry, sliding stop, Childress. Outside, hooked into the air by Wheeler. Cherry across the floor, Childress. Near side it goes Miranda. Hildenbrand with a dig. Thrown to the ground by Kieran. Two hands from the sophomore. Eagles back on top. Well, not only all the changes that Catawba has used, they have a different libero. Kuzma was the first two sets. Childress here in sets 3 and 4. And then we've seen Medic set. And for a brief moment, it was Kane setting. So you're using some of your specialists as well. Well, here comes Hall on serve. A chance for the Eagles to utilize this strength of the program. Miranda keeps it in play, and that puts an end to that promptly. 8th time we've been tied in the 4th. We're tied at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 8, 9, and now 10. So all but 6 and 7. Off of the tape, sliding effort from Hall. Now Cherry. Miranda gets blocked. Cherry and Kieran rise to the occasion, and Carson-Newman's back on top. (11-10) here in the 4th. Eagles drop the first, but have responded in the last 2. Catawba trying to hang around and force a decisive 5th. Outside set, Morgan gets one. We're tied again. Well, right now it feels like if a team can win 3 straight, that's the difference. And honestly, it almost feels like, can you win 2 straight to just get that 2-point separation? Out of bounds. That one was right along the tape. Carson-Newman watched it all the way back. Nearly a perfect serve. 12-11, 4th set. Barton serve. Morgan pass, very tight to the tape, dunked by Weaver, and the Eagles are ahead by a deuce. 5th kill for Skylar Weaver. Barton back to serve. Pass comes near the 10-foot line. Morgan off of the block. Now Miranda will just set it. That's basically a free ball and a chance. Hildenbrand. Eagles let him off the hook, and then Johnson rifles it in play. Carson-Newman basically let him off the hook there after having a free ball. And Johnson made sure that she wasn't going to make any misfires. 13-12, 4th set. Carson-Newman's side-out percentage has been phenomenal, 72% in the 3rd. Hildenbrand for Wheeler, and she puts it in the net. Well, Carson-Newman made 4 total attack errors in the 2nd and the 3rd. That is the 4th now in this one. And for the 10th time this set, we are tied. This has been the hottest contested set of any so far this season. In the 2nd set against Converse, there were 9 times. Weaver hits it off of the block. Good rescue from Hales. Now Morgan off of the rejection. Hildenbrand squares around. She gets another kill. Number 7 for Hildenbrand. And the lead back into the Eagles' hands. 14-13. Such a heady play by Hildenbrand. 1-point margin. Jump floating serve. Can Morgan put it down? No, she is rejected. Weaver and Edwards, number 11 for the Eagles. And a 15-13 lead. Is this where the Eagles pull away? Johnson running the slide. Hildenbrand the dig. She's got a double-double. Edwards, another one. Number 15 for Aaron Edwards, and a 3-0 surge by the Eagles, and it prompts the final timeout from Catawba. Carson-Newman surging at the perfect time with a chance to put it away. 16-13, 4th set, leading at 2-1. We're back to Holt Fieldhouse in a moment. And the Eagles wrap it up, or the Indians have a run to send it to a fifth. We find out when we return. Ten ties in the fourth set, but Carson-Newman has found a burst, 3 straight by the Eagles to open up a 16-13 lead. After dropping the first 25-23, they bounced back to win by margins of 17 and 18. And an ace from Hildenbrand. And it's 4 unanswered by the Eagles. And now Carson-Newman feeling it. And a chance to put this one to bed. 17-13, fourth set. Hildenbrand steps to the plate. Kane sets it up outside Medic off of the block. Back row attack, Cherry punches it, lunging stop from Hales. Morgan. Hildenbrand will set up Edwards. It's been a flawless connection all day, and it continues to be so. 16 for Aaron Edwards. A sensational performance by the two-time all-conference selection. Her career high is 19. And an ace. 6 unanswered, and the Eagles feeling it now. Edwards entered this match with 13 kills all season long. She has 16 and is hitting .577. 6 unanswered. Eagles getting close to the end here. To the middle, Johnson. Wow, look at the reactions from Barton and then Wheeler. Morgan into the block, and it finally does hit the deck to put an end to Carson-Newman's surge. Well, Edwards would probably need 2 more kills to get back over 600. The last Eagle to do that was Kana Rourke-Cassie against Emmanuel, September 7th, 2019. 15 kills for her in that match, hit .667. Edwards taps it, good sliding stop. Wheeler off of the tape. Kane sets it up. Hildenbrand gives it out, Edwards. That stays in play along the sideline. Aaron Edwards doing it all. It is her night at the arena, and the Eagles coasting now in the fourth. 17 kills for Edwards. 571. Johnson. Hildenbrand will loft it to the corner. Morgan with great skills to get over there. Kept in play by Bryant. Edwards again with a tap. To the middle it goes, Johnson. That's out of bounds into the bleachers. 21-14. Carson-Newman has won 8 of the last 9 points, and the Eagles in cruise control. A late burst here in the fourth, and after we witnessed 10 ties in the first 26 rallies, a chance to put it away. Wheeler on serve. Johnson passes to the middle. Johnson, Hildenbrand. And that one hits the deck. I believe Johnson was the one that got a piece of it. Catawba down 6. We're going to need a big-time service effort here from Johnson, who's done pretty much everything else on the floor tonight. That's a deep serve, and it's out of bounds. You can't afford those misfires at this juncture in the match, as the margin rises to 7. 22-15. Weaver to serve. Skyler floats it to the middle of the floor. Pass comes and slid over. Edwards off of the block. Childress covers. Bryant. That's in play and right down the line. And a 6-point affair. Well, Catawba had that big run in the first. Other than that, they haven't really shown that ability to take advantage of some opportunities. Carson-Newman on the other side has found those runs. To the middle, Kieran off of the block. Childress retreats, can't get there. The lead is back up to 7, 23-16. Double-double for Abby Hildenbrand. Edwards with 17 kills. And with just 2 points needed, Edwards is on the bench. Halls to serve. Nearly an ace. Bryant had to cover it in out of play area. Kieran slides, little hook shot, flicked on over. Match point now, Eagles at 24-16. And the fans looking to erupt and give the Eagles their first home win of the season in their first try. Jump floating serve from Hall. Medic. Out of bounds for the 7th time in the last 8 years. Carson-Newman opens the South Atlantic Conference slate with a victory. The Eagles come through in 4 sets after dropping the first. Aaron Edwards and Abby Hildenbrand lead the way on a full team effort, and the Eagles improve to 2-3 on the season and 1-0 in conference play. So Carson-Newman wins it. Edwards finishes with 17 kills. She hits .533. Hildenbrand, 40 assists, 10 digs, 7 kills. 6 different players with 5+ kills. And Carson-Newman's ends the night hitting .239. The Eagles committed 8 errors in the final 3 sets. Carson-Newman racks up 39 kills over the last 3. And the Eagles win it in 4 sets. So Carson-Newman off to a 1-0 start to sack play. Now they turn their lens to Queens tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. And the Royals are ahead 2-0 on Lincoln Memorial. Thanks for tuning into this broadcast for our great crew here this evening. Joining us for tonight's affair, our director Richard Martin, replay operator Danielle Whaley, and our great camera crew. I'm Michael Watring signing off. Carson-Newman comes through with a 4-set win. They take down Catawba for an 8th consecutive meeting, and the Eagles win it here tonight. We'll have a full recap on CNEagles.com and all the highlights as well. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, CN_Eagles, for all the action. I'm Michael Watring signing off. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Until then, good night, everybody.